Is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday and welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS preview show. I am your host, James Grande. No, that is still not John Impemba. That is Keith Eister once again. Keith, happy Tuesday. Not even acting like there was a day before Tuesday, because I just want to forget about that day. Tuesday is, in my eyes, Keith, Tuesday is the first day of the week. How about you?
Fair enough. The previous days slate turned into quite a mess once we got off the live show. Pretty much every single questionable player got ruled out, including everyone that was listed Q on Houston, except for Steven Adams, who is not playing anyway. The Jaren Jackson injury is obviously brutal.
Yes.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Fair enough.
Tuesday started the week for us. I don't know. So that means nobody's on the second leg of a back-to-back. There's nobody. No. Who do we got second leg? We have Houston second leg. We have Atlanta second leg. Golden State. Philadelphia's 4. So we got 4 teams on this main slate on the second legs of a back-to-back. Giannis and Trae Young are the only 2 players up over $10,000. Buckle in, because we have a ton more of questionable tags. I know, like, the whole Bulls team is questionable. We already got Evan Mobley news. He's out. Donovan Mitchell. I assume he's going to play. He sat out second leg of a back-to-back for Cleveland over the weekend. Who knows? I'm assuming we get Houston ins, but we don't know. Towns is questionable. I mean, there is endless amounts of questionable tags, endless amounts of out tags. For those joining for the first time, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We're going to be back at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to break it all down. Hopefully we have a lot more of the official word on who's in and who's out, more than us just speculating what we think is going to happen. We are going to break the slate down position by position. Like usual, we'll start at the point guard position. Let's get into this, Keith. We got Trae Young up at the top at $10,000, second leg of a back-to-back, as I mentioned. Steph Curry, second leg of a back-to-back in Madison Square Garden. Dame Lillard getting the Dyson Daniels treatment. We saw Tyrese Maxey leave and not return. I'd be hard-pressed to think he's going to play on this second leg of a back-to-back. We got Jalen Brunson, 88. Tyrese Halliburton, 86. Josh Giddey with the legit questionable tag, much like the rest of the Bulls team. They're all questionable. 82 for Fox, 8K for Barnes. Where do you want to start?
Yeah. Trae Young was not great in an awesome game environment on Monday night. The Maxey injury is obviously something to monitor. Really need to see what's going on there with Philly. Paul George also sat out Monday night, so we'll see what happens there. Lillard has a fast-paced matchup against Atlanta team, the same matchup we targeted heavily. The reason we were so exposed to Jaren Jackson, in addition to Morant getting rolled out. But Lillard looks like he's in a great spot. Brunson certainly playable on any slate. Nothing really jumping off the page here. I would say Lillard is probably the one that jumps out the most. Giddey has been incredible of late, obviously, but with that questionable tag, we'll see if he's able to suit up. Always hesitate to play a guy who's full priced as well when they come into the game with a questionable tag. So we'll see how that breaks down. But Lillard, the one that's standing out to me early on. Curry is obviously always got a ceiling. Brunson as well. So yeah, we'll see what kind of breaks out on the injury front.
Yeah, Towns questionable. We'd go back to the Brunson in that spot if we were to get Towns out, I'm sure. I like Halliburton second leg of a back-to-back. We've said it a lot this week. We've said it a lot over the last 2 weeks. Basically, since the All-Star break, he has been a complete different player. He's given us a 47-point floor through the first 6 games since the break. This is obviously a tough spot, but so was Miami, so were the Clippers, and he did not really have a problem against either of those teams. I mean, look at the double-digit assists too. 5 straight double-doubles for Tyrese Halliburton. That's the guy we had last year before the injury. So I would throw Tyrese Halliburton into that mix as well, despite the tough spot against Houston. When you dip our toes into the next tier, we do have Darius Garland. There will be no Evan Mobley. We assume Donovan Mitchell is back, second leg of a back-to-back. I guess the question is, if Chicago rules everyone out, they already ruled Nikola Vucevic out. Can they be competitive enough against a Cleveland team who's won 10 games in a row to get a Darius Garland? Daniel 7K, quickly 68. Cam Thomas 65. What's the next spot you're looking at here?
Yeah, Garland with that incredible matchup, obviously, but the blowout is definitely a concern, especially if the Bulls are without Giddey in particular, who's been playing really well. Nobody else really on that team doing much, so if Giddey gets ruled out, I really struggle to see Chicago keeping up in that game. Cam Thomas probably not playing enough minutes. Daniel's a guy who played a bunch here recently. Don't mind going back to that well. Prices hit the 7K mark now, but he's been paying off mid-6s pretty regularly, so I don't mind him there. Let's see. Castle's been really good. The minutes have been secure the last 3 games. I don't know that continues going forward. I don't know why they wouldn't take a look now that their season's lost with Wemby on the sideline. They might as well keep giving him a run, right? So Castle, a guy I'm comfortable sticking with.
Yeah, I like Castle. We'll see. This left thumb sprain is an interesting one. He has been really, really good for 3 straight games. So even if he continues to come off the bench, there's obviously a massive ceiling at this price. Dante DiVincenzo has been really good off the bench in his first couple games back. I'd be interested to see what they do with the minutes moving forward. We know there's no Rudy Gobert again. Julius Randle is also questionable for this game. There's probably a world where Randle gets ruled out and we see DiVincenzo slide back into the starting lineup. He had been starting before the injury to begin with, so I feel like sooner than later we're going to get Dante DiVincenzo back in the starting lineup. Would you go here, even if Randle plays? Obviously, 8 for 13 from 3 is not always a repeatable thing, but he is obviously a volume 3-point shooter. What's your take on DiVincenzo?
Definitely a volume 3-point shooter. I think the price is still at a point that I would play him even if Randle was in, if he was in the starting lineup. If I could get 28 minutes out of him, I think I'd play him at this price. And I agree with you. I think they're headed back in that direction. Conley is pretty much over the hill at this point, so no reason they don't turn back to DiVincenzo. If Randle's out, then I'm definitely into it. He's been really good in his last 2 games, like you mentioned, and I only see the minutes going up from here. Even if he stays off the bench, I don't think 28 to 29 minutes is out of the question. So, yeah, I'm interested regardless. Obviously, it's even better if Randle doesn't play.
What do we make of Ty Jerome? I know Mitchell's expected to be back. Do you think that Jerome is someone that would benefit from a blowout? We've seen this before, and it's been very hit or miss in blowout situations for Ty Jerome.
Yeah, he doesn't always get the run. I think he would play deeper than most guys until it was for sure well out of hand, like 20 points, which could happen in the spot. Yeah. I don't know. The price is up to 5,100 now, so you need a little bit more. I'm conflicted on it. I can see the merit to it. I definitely, if he was 4,600 like he was in the last one, I'd be totally all about it. But at 5,100, it's a little bit more of a conversation.
What about below Jerome? We have Cole Anthony checking in at 5K. He has really kind of been mediocre. Nembard at 48. Lonzo practiced, looked like he's going to play. Is there anything worth talking about here? I guess going possibly back to the Terrence Mann.
Killian Hayes.
He's no longer on the team. Yeah, he's no longer on the team.
I was going to say, just when it started to look like he had a role, then he took a step back. So glad we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Agreed.
Tyus Jones, or Trey Jones rather, if Giddey misses, could become interesting.
That's a good point.
Yeah, not seeing a ton else. We'll see what Houston has. Shepard's playing well on Monday night, but I assume that they'll be much healthier. Magically, Houston will be.
Yes, magically they will definitely be healthier on the second leg for sure. Yeah, I think that's it. I like your Jones call. He put 27 minutes. He's been typically a good fantasy point per minute guy. Shooting guard Anthony Edwards, 93, coming off another one of those Anthony Edward nukes that we have gotten a lot in the second half of this year. 44, 7, and 5. Philly has nothing to offer at 93. I think he is clearly better than everyone else. And I don't mean any disrespect to like Donovan Mitchell, who is obviously in a great spot coming off, one of the best played games individually of the year to bring Cleveland back in that game in the second half. But we've seen this time and time again in a non-competitive game or in a playoff atmosphere. Donovan Mitchell plays 29 minutes and you're just not going to get enough at 87. So
yeah, I agree. It's Ant a little. If Maxey doesn't play, which he probably will not, you have to be a little concerned about the blowout there too.
That's true.
Good matchup for Jalen Green against Indiana. They play with a good amount of pace. Even if Houston's back fully healthy, I wouldn't mind tournament shots on Jalen Green. Quentin Grimes, do we go back there? He's at it again here on Monday night. We'll see who suits up for Philly, but if there's no Maxey, I think you just have to.
I would I'd almost guarantee Maxey doesn't play.
Yeah,
leaving with a back injury the night before, it just what Wolverine blood is he gonna have to inject in himself to get onto the floor, right? So I am definitely comfortable going back to Quentin Grimes. I mean, you mentioned it. There's 4 minutes left in this game as we were recording. He's played 36 minutes. He's 1 assist shy of a double-double. He's taken 14 shots, and he outside chance at a triple-double, too, if he goes on a little rebound run over the last 4 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, we asked the question, is it chasing? And then they ruled everyone out. You're like, oh, it's not chasing because they don't have anyone available. And now they'll have less going into that game. I guess there is a conversation to be had. Jeff Dowden is playing the backup point guard, but we'll also talk Jared Butler probably if and when that Tyrese Maxey news comes out that he's not playing. Because Butler is a very good fantasy player when he gets extended. So we'll see which of the Philly point guards. Is that a 7 p.m.? No, of course it's not. It's an 8 p.m. game. Oh, we're not going to know. We're not going to know. Nick Nurse is not going to be that kind. Who below Quentin Grimes raises your eyebrow here? Devin Vassell, 5,600.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. He's been over 30 minutes the last couple of games. Again, like I was talking about with Castle, why not just let these guys play?
Yep.
Vassell should have all the usage that he wants.
Feels like he hit a wall and then is starting to show a little sign of life the last few games. If you're going to tell me Devin Vassell is going to go out and take 16 shots at 5,500, I'd play him. Or 5,600, I'd play him. I'd have a lot of exposure there. Anything else at shooting guard?
Just looking back at the Philly situation, Lonnie Walker played really well. Is he still minimum price?
Hell yeah. Lonnie Walker.
Yeah,
hell yeah, brother. Let's go. You're
Speaking
not
of guys
wrong.
who,
You're not
I mean,
wrong. I'm just
speaking of guys who like to chuck it,
yes. I mean, you're 100% right. He is legitimately having a good game. 13, 3, 2, 2, 1, and has made 3 3-pointers in 26 minutes. And if he found himself in like a starting lineup, I mean, we're going to get a lot of minutes out of Tyrese Maxey. Do you think, or out of Lonnie Walker, do you think Paul George plays second leg of the back-to-back?
I think their plan was initially to play him probably. I think the Maxey injury could throw a wrench into their plans, and maybe they just give
That's
PG
true.
a couple of more days. I don't have a
Or
strong take on it,
months,
but
or months
yeah,
until next
yeah,
year.
yeah,
Just a couple
right.
extra months off, you know. Yeah, I feel like Paul George plays, but obviously you're right. The Maxey injury kind of threw everything for a loop. Aaron Nesmith has played really well. Obviously coming off kind of an out of body experience for Aaron Nesmith. 9 for 16 from the floor, 6 from 11 from three. But he was a really good 3-point shooter last year for Indiana, and also was like always on the floor. Given he's their best. Him and Nembhard are like clearly two of the better perimeter defenders on the roster. Is that too expensive for you at 45, or like recent play have you interested in Nesmith?
If it was a different matchup, I'd be interested. If
Yeah, it's
assuming
true.
that Thompson is back, it's just a tough spot. Houston plays great defense, so mild interest. I'm intrigued. I don't know if I'll end up using him on this slate. Depends on. It seems like we're going to have plenty of value on this slate.
Seems like we're gonna have plenty of value. Something that was definitely true on the slate that doesn't exist anymore. Kevin
Yeah.
Herter also listed questionable. I mean, the Bulls could just be. I mean, dude, this is gonna be another Houston situation all over again, where they ruled Vooch out, and then every other starter is listed on the injury report. I guess the interesting part of Herter, if he plays, they already ruled out Ayo Dosunmu for the rest of the year. So like
Yeah.
you and I had talked about that a couple times last week.
Yep.
And then Herter plays 28 minutes, right? And they brought Ayo off the bench, and Herter's minutes haven't gone away. I guess Herter's minutes aren't going away unless he just doesn't play. Then the minutes are required to not be there because he's not active.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be chasing in this game. Him getting hot from three might be the only way they can stay in this game. So, I don't hate that call at all.
Yeah. I like Kevin Herter 43. There was one guy, Jacoby Walter. He only took 4 shots. I don't know if we need to go there, but Toronto already ruled out Ochai Agbaji and Grady Dick. Would we take a look at Jacoby Walter here?
Yeah, I don't mind it. His minutes were already trending in the right direction. He had been
Right.
over 20 before Grady Dick got injured, so he played 31 after the Grady injury. I think you can definitely go back there. Seems like he's going to have a significant role here.
Yeah, seems like a start. He's going to start, and we'll see after that. Let's go to small forward. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about there. Amin Thompson, 85. Franz Wagner, 81. Scotty Barnes, 8K. We'll see if Jimmy plays second leg of a back-to-back. Josh Hart, 77. RJ Barrett, who's apparently was almost dealt at the deadline. Reports are coming out to say they're looking to deal him. Paul George, 74. Like, what 7K and up stands out here, Keith?
Always can play Franz. Have played a ton of him this year. Incredible season for him. Don't like the matchup for Scotty against Orlando really at all. He could still get there, and the price is intriguing, but not. I don't think I need to go there in this matchup. I doubt Jimmy plays a back-to-back. Josh Hart is a guy I like to play a good amount. What is it? Yeah, he was back up to 43 minutes in that last game.
Yep.
No hesitation whatsoever with him. Tibbs just does not care.
Does not care.
Let's see. Moving down, not really seeing anything. Can't play McDaniels if Randall comes back, I don't think.
Hunter probably starts for Mobley.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
He's been
5,300.
He just continues to not miss shots, basically how he's done all year long. He just keeps scoring.
Yeah, good call. Has had a great season. Good savvy pickup there by Cleveland for sure.
Great. Dude, that was one of the more underrated, I think, deadline moves.
Yep.
They lost to Boston, and then like the next day was the deadline, and they were like, yeah, we're doing this. Like we're getting this guy's averaging almost 20 off the bench. Like we need depth. Because he's 6'7", and he's a 3-and-D guy. Like he can guard the Jays, and he can provide a spark for Cleveland. So I love the pickup.
Yep.
I don't know if they lost with him yet. I mean, they've won 10 in a row. So like, is that? I think DeAndre Hunter undefeated in a Cleveland uniform. I don't know.
Might be. That puts us pretty close to the. I think it's probably before the.
That's probably
before 10 games.
Yeah, that probably predates the deadline, right? So DeAndre Hunter undefeated this year. Who would have thought? Hunter, we got the guy he was traded for, Karis LeVert, $5,200. What do we got? That game has that game at half, despite the Jaren Jackson exit, is 70-65,
Awesome.
which is good. It is a good number. Karis LeVert, 4-4, 2-1 at half, 15 minutes. Pretty good. I guess we can go back to LeVert. Richeche, boy, let me tell you, 14 points and then 5 stocks at half for Zachary Richeche.
Wow. 16 minutes too.
16 minutes for Richeche. Is that like, if Niang is back, are you a little worried, or do you not care? Because he played the 32 against OKC, and Niang played in that one.
Yeah, it seems like they're really starting to give him a little bit more leash, which is intriguing for sure. I'm good going back to it, even with Niang, if Niang's back in there.
Hey guys, number 1 overall pick.
Let him play.
let him play.
Yeah.
Possibly, I don't know. Man, it's crazy theory. I don't know. Richeche is interesting. Dude, I know he wasn't great against OKC, but Keldon Johnson is a fantasy point per minute player sans Wemby. Low, like 23, 24% usage rate as well. When he is going offensively, they let him go.
Yeah, I was on the playbook last time they played, and I debated because I saw the 29 and 30 in back-to-back games where he'd kind of been in that 25-minute range all season long. So I was thinking maybe they were extending the leash a little here. Then they got blown out by OKC. So who really knows what the minutes look like? But I don't think it's out of the question he could play 29, 30 minutes in this spot. I like that call.
What else do we like? I guess like obviously we'd go back to Cam Whitmore if everyone was out for Houston again. He is going to be in every winning lineup. He was required to be in your lineup on Monday at $3,000. He's not $3,000 anymore, but if everyone's out again, you would just 45 still too cheap.
Yep. Anytime he's going to get run, you just got to look at it because he's so good per minute.
Would we play, if there's no Paul George again, would we play Justin Edwards?
What the price? 4,000 on the price. Yeah, I think he was 3,800. Played really well on Monday night. So a slight increase if he's starting again. I'm back in.
Yeah, 37 minutes in that game. He played the second most minutes behind Quentin Grimes. So I agree there. Is there anything else? Shannon's minutes are gone. I guess in theory.
Gary Payton played a decent amount of minutes last time Wiggins missed, or last time Butler missed.
Yep.
Let's see, 23 minutes. The last game Jimmy sat had 31, almost 32 fantasy points. There's probably enough value. You don't have to do it, but it's worth noting. It's a large field play. Yeah, I mean he might play 14 minutes and then doesn't even come close to get there. He also might play 22 minutes and not do anything.
And he also might rest with Jimmy on the second leg of a back-to-back.
Very true.
With all his injuries that he's had over, he might also be right there with. He got hurt tonight.
Okay.
He has sustained a head-nose injury. He was banged up, which I didn't see. I mean, I lost in the shuffle. Malik Monk got hurt tonight. Kyrie Irving, Brandon Pajemski, Tyrese Maxey, Jaren Jackson. All 5 of those players have left the game at some point, and Gary Payton is 6. So somewhere in there, we missed that Gary Payton left the game, but that's 6 players. Pajemski, I think, is the only one thus far to have returned. Kyrie was helped to the locker room. Malik Monk is headed to the locker room currently. So
lots of landmines out there on Monday night. You wonder why we don't want to talk about it.
It's also just one more point on, like, not just Peyton, I would say just Golden State as a whole. Steve Kerr's second leg of a back-to-back, few worse sentences than that. Steve Kerr's second leg of a back-to-back. That is that's going to be in my nightmares this year. So just also factoring that in as well. Shout out to Kevin Knox. I'm sure we'll see a Kevin Knox start tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Heading over to power forward, Giannis Antetokounmpo is, it's seemingly, I don't know when the minutes are going to get ramped up, but we're just seemingly comfortable at 32. And truthfully, I'm comfortable at 32. If this is the production we're going to get Giannis, I don't really care if we're going to get anything more. He has been awesome. I don't think either of us need to sit up here and tell you, hey, guys, go play Giannis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this matchup.
You can definitely do that. I mean, that's just – next year, I think, is a bigger talking point. We have Paolo, who just doesn't look great, did get 15 free throws. They did have a chance to get that to overtime. Franz missed a bunny at the rim. That was unfortunate for him. But they run it right back again. We have Naz Reid, who's going to start in place of Rudy Gobert again. Possibly no Julius Randle. Went from 25 shots to 15 shots from one game with Julius Randle, one game without, one game with. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. We have Siakam at 73, Jaden McDaniels we didn't talk about. I mean, Randle is there 34 minutes off rip for Julius Randle if he plays. He now has a groin strain that he's dealing with. What do we want to talk about here after Giannis?
Yeah, I think Naz is slightly overpriced with Randle back. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like the ceiling is a little bit more limited. He was filling in for Randle for a while there while Gobert was playing. Gobert's obviously a lot lower usage than Randle. So I feel like Randle impacts Reed's ceiling more than Gobert does. Don't love the matchup for Siakam. I kind of feel like McDaniels is impacted by Randle's return as well. Now, Naz and McDaniels, if Randle is out, are both fantastic and underpriced.
Agreed.
Let's see. There was someone I wanted to talk about here. I lost who I was really liking in this range. Randall's the guy that I wanted to talk about. You mentioned the minutes. Like 6,500, if we're going to get 34 minutes out of Julius Randle, yeah, sign me up. I'm into that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty tough price to pass on. No?
Yeah.
I'm a little confused at the algorithm on this one, truthfully, because this game happened on 3-2, right? This game against Phoenix. And there is no limitations whatsoever out of the gate. 34 minutes. And obviously that could be a reason why we're now dealing with a groin strain. He hadn't played for over a month, and now we have a groin strain after 34 minutes. But I'm going to hit the lock button on Julius Randle if he plays at this price. The matchup, the price, the price, regardless of what you think of the player, is too cheap for the fantasy part of it.
Yeah, he can definitely be very frustrating, and he lacks some effort sometimes, and I definitely understand that sentiment around him. But the reality is he's a pretty good fantasy point producer, and he has a better role. I mean, assuming that he's full go again, like 6,500 is too cheap for who this guy is as a fantasy player.
I mean, has he been? I wanted to look. He has not, other than his return, which nobody clicked because nobody can imagine there was 34 minutes on the table.
Right.
He had not been under 7,000 once this entire season. There
you go.
Not once. I'll eat that chalk. I'll play chalky Julius Randle. I don't care. At 6,500, I'd play that. What else? Sohan has been extended the last couple games. He's good per minute when he gets extended.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Again, like these Spurs guys, there's so much opportunity around for them that I think it's going to take a while for the prices to adjust. So Brooklyn, never a team that I like to target, but because they're underpriced, I'm good with it.
Yabu?
He's kind of fallen off here recently. Let me just double check. Where did he finish at?
He had a pretty bad game, but I think he played 35 minutes if you were to hang your hat on anything. He is a very wide range. He is a wide range outcome guy. And so, I would say the one thing that you benefit from is the double big here potentially with Minnesota.
Yeah, Drummond impacts his rebounds though, I think.
True. That's very true. So true.
I mean, the cheap double-double where he'd get you 12 points and 11 rebounds was really helping him get there with that double-double bonus on DraftKings. With Drummond there, I don't know if his rebounding ceiling is as high.
That's so true. It's a great point. Who else then? Riche. Bazulis is the only Bulls starter not on the injury report or already listed out. I mean, they played him in a 15-point loss. They'll probably just keep playing him here. Is Bazulis just kind of safe regardless?
Yeah, I think he's safe. No Mobley definitely helps the matchup here.
Yes,
so
for sure. Yeah, no Evan Mobley. Good luck going. Here's DeAndre Hunter for you, Matas. He scores 18 points a game and shoots 40% from three. Good luck. Yeah, I do agree though. It is obviously a better spot. If Niang plays, would you go there?
Yeah, I don't mind that. Hasn't been great recently, but I mean, he's a guy. All you need is a couple of threes to fall, and you're all right. He's going to shoot him, I think. So I'm all right with that.
What else? The Bulls started Dalen Terry. He is a literal zero. The Hawks started Dominic Barlow on the Monday slate. In fact, not only did they start him, he played 13 first half minutes. Didn't have like the best. He was 6 points, 2 rebounds at half, but he did get 13 minutes. If there's no Georges Niang, I think that there is. What was Niang out for? Was it just an illness? I mean, there's no guarantee Niang is back. Like if they started Barlow again, is it even worth playing? I mean, you could just say no. I don't want to play Dominic Barlow, and we can move on. But
I'm not really into it. I don't think it feels like the Mohamed Gay situation where he's a nominal starter. He's playing more minutes than Gay has been getting.
Gay played like 15 minutes like every night. Barlow got 13 in the first half, which I find interesting.
It is interesting. He didn't do much with those, but I'm not sure off the top of my head what he is historically per minute. I think he's pretty good though, from if memory serves. So a little bit surprising that he hasn't done much with his 13 first half minutes.
Yeah, he's less than a fantasy point per minute this year, but it's not like
he hasn't been given any opportunity.
He hasn't been given any time. Yeah, averaging 7.5 minutes per game. So, the Bulls are going to be a nightmare. I don't even want to think about it. I want the Bulls news now, just so we don't have to think about it and like try to think through who's going to play and who's not, because it just seems like such a terrible time. Let's go to center and have a better time. Karl Anthony Towns is here. playing monster minutes like the rest of his team, 40 in 2 of the last 3, despite all these issues. There was a knee. Now the knee is apparently fine, and now he's dealing with a personal matter. So we have Towns, 98. Everyone else around here we talked about. I guess someone we didn't talk about is Alperen Şengün. If Şengün plays here with the back injury against Indiana, would you have interest at 9,100?
Big price tag, but
Yes.
yeah, I think I would. I like the matchup against Indiana. I mentioned the up tempo. I think they're 7th in pace last I checked. They're right around that range for sure, if that's not the exact number. I don't have much bad to say about Şengün. He's been playing mid-30s minutes too, which he's always been great per minute. Sometimes he was just playing 28, 30 minutes instead of 34. He's been 35, 36, 37 even here recently. So assuming that the back is okay and he's active, yeah, I'm into Şengün for sure.
6th, Indiana. So you were right. Then we drop off because there's not a lot there. We do have Miles Turner, who continues to be super consistent, well over a fantasy per minute nightly, 6,400 on the opposite side of Şengün. Onyeka Okongwu had a monster first half against Memphis, which you and I had, extensively talked about. 10-8, 1-1-1. Still too cheap at 62 in my opinion. You have that. You do have Jared Allen with no Mobley beside him. The minutes have obviously been trending in the opposite direction. I think we're getting a look at what Cleveland's going to look like in the postseason a lot of these nights with Jared Allen not in the closing lineup. But you do have Allen 62, no Evan Mobley. We have Draymond 61, Zach Collins 6K, Jakob Poeltl 6K, minutes trending upwards for him. Claxton 57, Wendell Carter 55, Drummond 5K. I mean, there is Brooke Lopez 58. There's a lot of really good center plays here.
Yeah, strong range. And the thing with center and the mid range is they all have big upside because they can pop off for big rebound games or get a couple extra blocks. So definitely love targeting the center position heavily. The spot for Jared Allen is phenomenal. Like no matter who plays for the Bulls have been absolutely destroyed in the paint this season. Even if I'm only getting 26 minutes out of him, I am in on Jared Allen. Like this is just a fantastic spot for him. Collins has been really good for the Bulls. Not a great matchup with Allen on the other side. I think I definitely prefer to go to Poeltl. Not a great matchup for him either. But the minutes, like we said, he was playing 30-plus minutes early in the year, up to 26 in the last one, and was really good in the same matchup. It is a tough matchup, like if you're looking at season data, but Poeltl performed really well against Orlando in the last game. I'm interested in seeing if he can't grab a few extra minutes here. Claxton is a guy who I've played a bunch lately. With Cam Thomas back, I think that lowers the ceiling a little bit, so might not need to go there. Certainly don't mind the matchup against the Spurs, though. They obviously without Wemby, they're not nearly the defensive team that they were. What did Wendell Carter's minutes look like? 32 minutes for Wendell Carter in the last game. I mean, they've gone away at many times this season. Like just when you think it's safe, they disappear and he plays 24 minutes. But I like the matchup against Toronto for sure. So I don't mind some shots on WCJ.
Yeah, I like the 5,500 price too. I mean, we got to talk about it. Andre Drummond straight up broke the slate, right? We just got word from Nick Nurse. Tyrese Maxey is going to be considered day-to-day. Justin Edwards also sprained his ankle during this game. He is day-to-day for Philadelphia, per Nick Nurse. So I don't know what happened today with injuries. I have no clue, but it is really bad. What type of exposure to Andre Drummond on the second leg of a back-to-back would you? Because like, if if we're missing a lot of pieces to Philly again, he's going to garner so much ownership based on what he's done the last couple games.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just.
I don't think I can say a bad thing about it, though. He's always been a guy who can play big minutes throughout his career. It's not been conditioning that keeps him off the floor. It's been just his athletic limitations where he can't get out to the perimeter. But conditionally wise, he's totally fine. Another 29 minutes for him. I think on the back-to-back, he can run that right back. He's one of the best rebounders of all time. So yeah, I'm in on Drummond again.
If we get a Quentin Post starting lineup, would we have interest there?
Yes. Yeah. Good per minute producer. Just give me mid-20s minutes and I'm in.
Is there anything else that we can is there anything else we could talk about? I don't think so. Even if Towns were out, I would not play Mitchell Robinson. The minutes just won't be there. I don't see anything else unless you do.
I do not.
Okay, let's get a lineup built. For those just watching for the first time, we build a example lineup here at the end of the slate. And again, it's just an example lineup. We're building with no knowledge of who's actually going to play, because we might build a lineup and nobody's going to play that we put in our lineup. There's a chance not a single person that we put in our lineup plays tonight. Hope that's not the case, but I'm just saying, you never know. Where do you want to start on this slate? Val, who was Drummond?
Drummond, I think. Randall stood out as a huge value to us.
Yeah, we'll go Drummond and Randall. I like that start. Yeah. I like that start a lot. I can't believe Randall's price.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I mean, it had to be, they assumed he would be on a minutes restriction, but like you said, there was a full day in between. It could have been adjusted.
This is not a back-to-back. They had the time.
Right.
There was a time.
Yeah, very strange. We play
okay.
The cards we're dealt, right?
We do play the cards we're dealt. That's exactly right. All right, what else do we got? Is there any other? I mean, we liked Ant, but that game just could look really ugly. Quentin Grimes is another one we really liked, but how much Philly do we want? Second leg, I guess, is the question.
We could go cheaper with Edwards or Lonnie Walker too, if you.
Dude, Lonnie. I mean, I'm down.
I think
honestly,
he has to have a real role, right?
Well, and
they're so short,
and there's the fact that both Maxey and Edwards are now questionable.
Right.
It's just.
Well, yeah. If Edwards is out too, man, Lonnie might play 30.
Start and play 35 minutes. Lonnie Walker, second leg of back-to-back. Oh man. What a dream that would be. You know what? We're we can afford Giannis at 11,000. That's an easy plug with Lonnie Walker.
Yep.
$6,000 feels really good. Anytime you can include Giannis into a lineup, that feels like extremely comfortable. Did we want to double center? Center felt really strong, in that mid tier. Also, that Dominic Barlow dream. They started Terrence Mann in the second half over Dominic Barlow, so maybe pump the brakes. Maybe pump the brakes on the Dominic Barlow thing.
My man exposure would appreciate that if all my lineups weren't better, Eddie.
True. Yeah. all your Terrence Mann lineups attached to your Jaren Jackson lineups.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Double center I think is a good idea. Okongwu is a guy we've liked a ton over the past week and really for the past month or so.
Dude, he smashes every. Yeah. Who do you want to? You actively want to play Jared Allen though, right? You want to attack the Bulls.
I mean, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's not second guess it.
He hasn't been consistent recently, but if he fails in this spot, something's wrong.
He's also played with Evan Mobley recently, right? No Evan Mobley in this one. So you would think, because they only have one big, you're closing. They're forcing you to close with Allen if it's a competitive game.
Yeah, and you just explained away Allen's struggles entirely. Mobley took a pretty big leap forward this year, just kind of growing as a player himself,
Yep.
and that has definitely impacted Allen.
Yeah. I mean, the writing's on the wall in the playoffs too. Like, he's not going to be in at the end of games, but if there's no Evan Mobley, like, we don't have to worry about that.
Exactly. Yep.
Where else do we want to go? Do we have like any other value that we want to get to? Terrence Mann, Edwards, we in on a third Philly. As of right now, while we're building, Neesmith, Keldon. Was there a point guard that we wanted to spend down on? Was there another value guard that we wanted to use? Just trying to like think through what we even talked about at this point. Jacoby Walters, 37. I think we need to do that, but
yeah, I'm trying. Trey Jones was a cheapie that I threw out there, but you need Giddy out for that, I think.
is Gary Trent going to play 30 minutes again with Kyle Kuzma's listed as doubtful? Do we see 30 from Trent? He shot out of his mind the other day. There is the Terrence Mann play, obviously. He hasn't been great, but he is a human being that plays basketball.
LeVert for a little bit more.
Yeah, I like LeVert. I'm down with LeVert. We're not even sure if Atlanta sits anyone in the back-to-back. We have no idea. But that game is also, I think it was the highest implied total in the 243 implied points. It's actually not the highest. Cleveland and Chicago at 245.5 leads the way, but 243 is not too shabby. Point guard and guard, $6,400.
DiVincenzo was.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, either one of those guys, I'm good with. We talked about them both pretty extensively.
If we played DiVincenzo for cheaper, we have 73. That would be one of like Barrett, Daniels, quickly. Or we could play a 7,300 small forward because we could play LeVert there. So it's still just RJ. There's no change whatsoever. Or if we played Stephon Castle here, it would be a $6,700 guard. Van Vliet's going to play. We didn't talk Van Vliet, but he was terrible in his return. Grimes. I guess Oubre might be back. It feels like not the best range, but I don't know if you have a different take on it.
I'd be okay going back to Grimes, even though it leaves 700. But if you want to do something different, we can come off LeVert. I'm fine with that. I'm not attached to that play by any means.
Castle, then off LeVert, 59. I mean, I like Hunter if we're double. I mean, Hunter or Vassell are right there. Probably one of those two in that lineup. So Stephon Castle, Lonnie Walker, DeAndre Hunter, Julius Randle, Andre Drummond, Quentin Grimes, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jared Allen. We have $600 left over. We will be back at 5 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. I think John is back. We'll see if his flight is delayed any longer. But big salute to you, Keith, for filling in once again. Big salute to you guys in the FA Nation for showing your constant support. And make sure to leave a comment. Who's your favorite play of the slate? Who are some of the plays you are looking at, depending on some of the injury designations we have on this slate? So let us know in the comment section. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff. For Keith, I'm James. Peace.